What's up, everybody? Welcome back to BT Willis Garage. In the parking lot, waiting on my wife and son, and decided to be a good day to give you some tips and tricks that I have for you on your X3M or your X3M competition. This particular model is the X3M competition. You'll notice some badging down here. The M's just say, I believe they just say M there instead of the X3M competition being, spelled out. So that's one quick difference for you. But what I'd like to get into is just how to take advantage of some of the functions of the vehicle. So these little SAVs, as they call them, just starting out, have a pretty cool panoramic roof. It goes all the way back, which is pretty neat. And with a car seat, I know my son loves to look out there, and he's only 8 weeks old, so older kids probably love that too. We'll close that up. While it's closing, one of the really cool things with the stereo, and I think I've got copyright free, but I'm not going to turn it up for long, is somewhere in here is a sensor. I'm not sure if it's this one or where it is, but if you do your hand in a circular motion, you can turn it up and down. And then if you go like this, you can change the song. So that's pretty cool. And that's trick number one, I guess. The next part is programming your M controls. If you go under My Vehicle, M Setup, you can set two of these up. They're used here. So if you press M1, sometimes you have to press it twice because it's like, do you really want to disable traction control? But you can get into pre-settings, and what I typically do, and I'll show you here, I set it up to be able to use launch control at the push of a button. So I've got DSC off, four-wheel drive sport, engine sport plus, and then you can set the chassis and the steering to wherever you want. And then transmission 3, heads up view, and M. It doesn't have to be, but if you set it up this way, you can engage launch control simply by pushing M1 and then holding the brake and holding the gas all the way down, letting the boost build for a second. And I was able to clock some 3.6 second launches that way, which is pretty cool. Something else is if you get into My Vehicle and then go to vehicle status, some people like, not vehicle status. There's some cool stuff in there. Technology in action. If you're one of the people that like gauges, I know there's a lot of older AEM gauge, boosted Honda folks that may be buying these cars now. You can get your horsepower and torque readings up on the dash. I mean, whether they're correct or not is up to, I guess you putting it on the dyno and comparing, but that's pretty cool. You have your X drive status here. It'll show you, if the vehicle's tilted, and you can play around with that, which is neat. And then efficient dynamics, when the engine's running, will show the engine running. It'll show you when the vehicle is charging, when you're braking, which is kind of cool too. Something else would be the driver profiles. In here, you can change the name, you can set up different profiles, and you can set your seat settings, your keys, and all that good stuff. So when you get in the car, my wife has her key. It'll set properly to her, seat functions as far as where she has them programmed, and same goes for my key. In order to change the exhaust and engine responsiveness, use these buttons here. So this is for your exhaust / engine settings. 2 clicks will get it into Sport Plus. So if I press that, you can see it changing. Next is the chassis setting. And then lastly is the suspension setting. So just be aware of that. Here's traction control if you want to turn it off without programming it under the M mode. What else should we show you? The seats. So down here is your seat settings, and you can really program these guys to like wrap around you, which is super cool. And then there's a lot of different functions for these gorgeous seats. They did a killer job with these, and so you can change the bolster, pump this up. You can pump all of this up in different areas of your back, which is pretty neat. But just, instead of a professional review of someone that borrowed a car, I figured continuing to educate you guys on some of the settings that I really love. And showing you a real owner, opinion of what I use the most is pretty neat. But that radio function is pretty cool. I don't know if it has to be at the home screen. I don't have an iPhone, but my wife does, and she really likes the Apple CarPlay, but I can't show you that right now. So that's pretty cool. Oh, heads-up display, lastly. I don't know if... Here, it doesn't really work well. There we go. You can kind of see it there. It doesn't really work well with polarized sunglasses, so that sucks. But anyway, maybe I can adjust the lighting to where you can actually see it. You can see the song list up there on the right. I know that's hard to see. Your speed, your directions, and all that good stuff does kind of show up there. So really cool. And with satellite radio, you can program it on the dash to actually show your song or the channel or whatever you want to set it to. But I think that'll be it for today. Hope someone finds this helpful. Oh, one more thing. If you push this button, you can get rid of some of the safety controls. So I turn off the lane warning so that whenever, pretty much if I want to dodge a pothole, it doesn't try to put me back on the road. So you can turn all that off. I have it set to an individual, but you can, you can say, if a kid jumps out in front of me, I definitely want the car to brake itself. Here's the lane departure warning. I turn that off. Blind spot detection, side collision warning on. If someone tries to sideswipe, it will send a warning before they do, so you can, have an extra heads up. So all of that's good stuff. I know this is kind of an all over the place video, but figured someone out there, again, might find it useful. Y'all be good, and keep an eye out for this thing on the track coming soon.